Chapter 2. The Knight's Tale.
In the end, the knight spoke first.
I'm not very good at this,
He said,
but I have a wonderful old story to tell. It's all about love and war between men and women, two friends and different countries. But it's very long, so I'm going to tell you only the most important things. I'm not going to take a lot of time answering all those little questions. What clothes did they wear? What did they eat? How did they fight? And was the weather good or bad? But let's begin. Are you all ready?
we all said
Yes!
at once, and he began to tell his story happily.
Long ago in Greece, Duke Theseus fought to make Athens bigger. For many years, he made war with different people. One of these wars was with the Amazons. These women were very good fighters, and not afraid of Theseus or the people of Athens. When Theseus won the war, he married the Amazon queen, Hippolyta. After that, he wanted to take his wife and her sister Emily to Athens. On the road, they came to the city of Thebes. There, they saw lots of women with their heads in their hands.
Why are you crying?
Asked Theseus.
Our city fought a war with Creon.
The women told him.
He took the city.
Now, he's king of Thebes, and we can't bury the dead bodies of our husbands, fathers, and sons, because they were Creon's enemies.
Then Theseus told his wife and her sister,
You must go to Athens without me. I must fight Creon before I come home.
So Hippolyta and Emily went to Athens, and Duke Theseus fought Creon. In the end, Theseus killed him. When he was dead, the women of Thebes could bury their men. In the war, Theseus's men hurt two of Creon's knights. Later, they brought these two men to the Duke. Their names were Archite and Palamon. They were cousins and good friends. Because they were good fighters, the Duke didn't kill them.
You're coming with me to Athens,
He said.
There you must live in prison. And in the end you must die in prison too, because you were friends of King Creon, and he was my enemy.
So Archite and Palamon went with Theseus to Athens, and for many months they lived in a prison next to the Duke's castle. One day, when Palamon sat by the window, he saw beautiful Emily in the castle garden. He fell in love with her at once and cried,
Oh, help! I'm hurt.
Are you ill, Palamon?
asked Archite from his bed.
No, I'm not. But come and look through the window.
Answered Palamon. Archite looked through the window. When he saw Emily, he fell in love with her too.
Emily!
Called Hippolyta from the castle.
Come here! I need you.
I'm coming, sister.
Answered Emily, and she went at once.
What a beautiful girl!
Cried Archite.
She's Queen Hippolyta's sister, Emily, and I love her.
You can't love her.
Said Palamon angrily.
I saw her and fell in love with her first. So I'm her lover, not you.
Cousin,
Answered Archite.
Emily doesn't know us, and we're never going to meet her. So I can love her too, I think, and you can't stop me.
The two cousins, once the best of friends, now became the worst of enemies. Some time later, Duke Perotheus visited Athens. He was Theseus's friend, and Archite's friend too.
Theseus,
Said Perotheus when they met.
can Archite go back to Thebes with me?
Of course,
Answered Theseus.
but he must never come back to Athens, or I'm going to kill him.
Archite left prison and Athens very sadly. He was very angry about Palamon.
I'm never going to see Emily again, but Palamon is going to see her from his prison window every day.
Back in Thebes, Archite was ill for a long time with love for Emily. When, after many months, he was well again and could leave his bed, his face was thinner, and he had a beard.
I'm very different to look at.
He thought.
No one is going to know me in Athens now.
So he changed his name to Philostrate, changed his clothes, and went back to Athens. There he went at once to Theseus's castle, and soon became the Duke's good friend. All this time, Palamon stayed in prison, and watched Emily through his window every day. But one night, soon after Archite was back in Athens, Palamon climbed out of the prison window and ran to a forest near the castle. The next day, Archite went for a walk in the forest. He saw nobody near him, so he spoke freely. But behind a tree, Palamon listened carefully.
Every day, Palamon watches Emily far away through his prison window.
Began Archite.
And some months ago, I too nearly died of love for her. But now I can meet her and speak with her in the castle when I want. These days, I have a new beard, and I'm thinner than I was, so no one here knows me. That's good, because now I can be Philostrate, and Duke Theseus's good friend. And before, I was only his enemy, Archite.
Suddenly, Palamon came out from behind his tree.
Fight me, Archite, you dog!
He cried angrily, and the two cousins fought. Just then, Duke Theseus arrived with some knights. Hippolyta and Emily came after them.
What's all this noise? Philostrate, my friend, why are you fighting?
Palamon told the Duke everything.
So you are my old enemy, Archite,
said Theseus angrily.
Archite, Palamon, the two of you must die for this.
But Emily and Hippolyta cried,
Please.
Don't kill them.
So the Duke said to the cousins,
Very well. I'm not going to kill you. You're free to leave Athens now. But you must come back in a year's time. Archite, bring with you 100 knights. And Palamon, you bring 100 knights too. There's going to be a big fight between you. And the winner can marry Emily.
So Archite and Palamon promised to come back with their knights and left Athens. Theseus began to make everything in the city ready for the big fight. Soon there were new buildings everywhere, and the people of Athens felt excited.
We're going to have a good time next year.
They thought,
With lots to eat and lots of drinking and singing.
And all because Archite and Palamon and their knights are coming.
It's wonderful!
After a year, Archite and Palamon came back to Athens with their best knights. They were ready to fight for Emily. The night before the fight, Palamon asked Venus for help.
Goddess of love, help me to marry Emily,
he said. At the same time, Emily asked Diana for help.
Goddess of women without husbands,
she said.
I don't want to marry. So stop this fight between Archite and Palamon. But perhaps you can't do that. So then, help me to marry well. Which of these two knights loves me more? I want him for my husband.
That evening, Archite asked Mars for help.
God of war, help me to win the fight,
he said. In Olympus, the home of the gods, Diana spoke angrily with Venus and Mars.
What can we do?
She said.
Palamon, Emily, and Archite all want different things. They can't all be happy in the end.
The answer's easy.
Said the old god Saturn.
Palamon can win Emily, and Archite can win the fight. Listen to me. What's going to happen tomorrow is this.
Back in Athens, it was the day of the big fight. Before things began, Duke Theseus spoke to Archite, Palamon, and all their knights.
When a knight is hurt,
he said to them,
he must leave the fight. Do you understand?
Yes,
said Archite and Palamon. Then the fight began. After some time, Palamon was badly hurt, and his men took him away. Archite was happy when he saw Palamon go. He stayed on his horse, put his hands over his head, and cried to the people of Athens,
I winner!
The people of the city cried back excitedly,
Arkite's the winner! Arkite's the winner!
When Arkite's horse heard all this noise, it became afraid. Suddenly, it stood up on its back legs. And Arkite fell from its back and was badly hurt. Doctors ran to him, but they couldn't help him. And so he died. In the end, Palamon married Emily, and the two of them buried Arkite very sadly. Duke Theseus was excited about the wedding between Palamon and Emily.
This is an important day for Athens and Thebes,
he said on their wedding day. Palamon loved Emily, and she loved him, and they were husband and wife for many long and happy years.